everybody. Happy Wednesday. I hope you're doing well. I'm excited to be here today. I love to just hop in and just talk about what's going on in the world of AI this week that pertains to mental health therapists. One thing I posted about in our Run Your Private Practice with AI Facebook group this week is a man that fell in love with this chatbot and proposed to the chatbot, and the chatbot said yes, and he was crying and just so happy. But turns out he has a spouse too. I mean, we're going to see a lot more of this in the future because they're so realistic. He was talking about in the article that the bot knows me and knows how to respond. And he was real happy, and his wife, I guess, wasn't too concerned about it. I don't know how you work that out. I mean, all you therapists out there, they're into polyamorous relationships or polygamous relationships or whatever you even call them. I don't even know, with multiple partners. This is the next level for you guys in your field of study to be able to help people with this stuff, because I do feel like this is seriously going to be a thing coming, just like people having relationships with their AI and how to navigate that. Especially if they have other relationships. Is that considered emotional affairs? It's just a really interesting question. Some other things that I've just noticed in the news this week, I kind of took some notes and just thought I'd share with you guys. Stanford released a study. They did this huge investigation about AI chatbots and, using it for therapy. And basically its findings, and I'll put the link down below, its findings were that it emulates therapy, because a lot of us are talking about that a lot, right? When is AI going to replace us as therapists? I mean, it's already happened. We already know it's happening. A lot of people are turning to ChatGPT or whatever to help them with pressing therapeutic, brief intervention issues that they've got going on. But Stanford found that there's obviously a lot of inherent problems with it, but they really break it down in this article. I thought it was interesting. So the main things that I read in the article were AI chatbots. They basically reinforce delusions. They provide misleading validation and fail to discourage harmful behavior. So you guys might have seen that thing floating around a month or two ago when somebody was bipolar, and he said to the chatbot he was going to go off his meds to ChatGPT, and it was oh, that's a great use of self-care and really taking good care of yourself. So I guess that prompted Stanford to really dig into this, analyzing it more in depth. And it says that it fails to discourage harmful behaviors over and over again, especially in serious cases like suicidal ideation. Journaling bots may be helpful, but equating them with real therapy is risky. So that was basically their finding, but it's a super interesting article. And like I said, I'll post the link down here below. Okay, so there was a tech conference, an AI tech conference, and there's something called Emobot. Now, this is interesting for us as therapists. I don't know. Did you ever watch that show? It was called Lie to Me, I think is what it was. And it was that British actor, I can't think of his name, but he would basically read micro expressions, and then he would know if people were lying based on their micro expressions. He'd solve the crimes or whatever. Anyway, this thing, Emobot, tracks facial expressions throughout the day and creates emotional graphs, much like a fitness tracker logs steps or heart rate. The goal is to help psychiatrists monitor mood swings, gauge treatment effectiveness, and even detect early signs of relapse in patients that are battling depression. Very interesting. And I was just reading through, and it basically is, I'm the clinical consultant for Barry's. It's, picking up on the audio, but the next step probably is, okay, it's picking up on the audio, but now they have to pick up on the tone of voice that you're using, or inflections in your voice, or word patterns. You can already do that with the HIPAA compliant bot inside of ChatGPT. You can have it analyze progress notes and even the transcripts there. You can copy and paste the transcript in and have it analyze tone. Are there any subtle comments or words that were used that maybe you didn't pick up on? You could already do that. But since it's recording, eventually, I don't know, is it going to be able to pick up a tone of voice? Or even is it eventually going to have a camera on? And I'm not saying Barry's is thinking about this, but just a camera on where it's picking up on the micro expressions, reading your expressions, and giving feedback to the clinician and the client about their moods, warning signs, gosh, last time you were using language like that, or your face looked kind of sad and sunken like that, you were in a depression already and we didn't know it. It's going to pick up on subtle things like this. So this Emobot is doing that. And it's giving feedback, and psychiatrists are already integrating it into their practices. So, I just think that's super interesting. You guys might remember about, I don't know, maybe a month and a half ago or 2 months ago, I put out a blog post that just talked about, AI is probably not going to replace us as therapists, but they're definitely going to replace therapists that aren't using AI to help them in their practices. So, I put a lot of ideas in that blog post about what you can do to help stay ahead, stay relevant, stay up to date with AI, and how to incorporate it into your business and your life and your practice so you can keep up with like other therapists that are using AI in their practice. So, things like this, I feel like are right on the cusp of what we're going to be integrating into our therapy practices, like using this Emobot kind of technology in our private practices, obviously HIPAA compliant, but this is just right around the corner. It's already out. It was at this tech conference and psychiatrists are already using it. They say the feedback was pretty good. They're just talking about in the article, like all the people that are already using it and what the feedback is around it. So it's super interesting. Emobot's launch comes amid a larger trend within the tech world where mental health is becoming a central focus. Yeah, Viva Tech 2025 featured over 1,400 startups from 50 countries with AI-powered healthcare solutions among the most discussed innovations at this whole conference. No, sorry, not 14,000 startups from 50 countries are developing AI tools around mental health, the healthcare space. So this is our future, and we have to figure out how to bring this stuff into our practices. If it's, virtual reality headsets, I met with somebody recently that I'm hoping to introduce to y'all soon. Has a super innovative product that is just going to blow your mind. She's using it in her therapy sessions and her supervision sessions, and she's created this tech and to use in her practice, and it's like making a huge difference for her clients that she's using it with. It's going to blow your mind when you see this thing. And there's just every day I'm reading about stuff like this. So I guess I'm just one excited on one hand and want to keep you guys up to date with what's actually happening with all of this stuff, but also it's coming, it's here, it's happening. Like next year, who knows what our practices are going to look like with this stuff. So I feel like this responsibility, a way to just keep you guys updated on like how are people using these things already. And this article is talking about psychiatrists are already using this technology to read facial expressions throughout the day. There's bioengineered like wearables that are picking up on pulse changes and breathing patterns and how much you're eating. It's already doing all that. The Meta glasses, I don't know if you guys have seen the Meta glasses, but people are wearing these Meta Ray-Bans and they've got like a little camera right there that analyzes everything. In fact, I did an interview for the Berries podcast last week, and he told me he's wearing those Ray-Bans, and I was like, give me some use cases for like these are helpful or not. He's like, yeah, I'll tell you one yesterday. I was at the grocery store and, I was at the eggs, looking at the eggs, and he's like, I couldn't remember if I needed eggs or not. So I just asked my Meta glasses. The Meta glasses recorded what was in his refrigerator and remembered that he only had like 2 eggs left and told him, yeah, you need more eggs because you don't have enough left for the amount of eggs that you could consume on a weekly basis. Like it gave that level of detail. Crazy. So anyway, I just thought I'd update you guys on what is happening in the world. There's a couple other little things like this. Let's see. Another like thing that's emerging in the news this week is anxiety around AI itself. So a psychologist notes that AI anxiety is people feeling diminished as AI takes on creative or professional tasks. The antidote, framing AI as a tool, not a threat, right? But this is going to be a real thing. I was watching a AI podcast on YouTube the other day. I can't remember the guy's name, but he was going through the numbers. He's like, Microsoft just laid off 3,500 employees that they're replacing with agentic AI agents, these agents that are basically can do these customer service jobs and that sort of thing. They talked about Microsoft, a few other companies. He was just naming company after company after company. So this is a real phenomenon us as therapists need to be aware of and talking to our clients about. I mean, this is going to be affecting our clients. Like they are getting laid off because AI is taking on their jobs. Amazon was one of them. And the Amazon warehouses, it was talking about they laid off a lot of Amazon employees because these agentic bots are doing a lot of the like inventory, going and picking stuff out of the warehouses. That's like a big deal. These warehouse pickers. I had a client once that did it. She was walking like 30,000 steps a day, something crazy like that, picking these things. But all these companies are laying people off and, where are they going to go? What are they going to do? How are we going to help them find new skills that's going to be relevant in this world that's emerging with AI? So super interesting. I would not be surprised if our next DSM has some AI diagnoses. I read another article about the harms of AI and being dependent on AI and how like there was some research going on where it was just basically like eliminating the need for like critical thinking and original thought because they're just using the AI to like help with a lot of different things. And they're noticing a trend with that too. It was some research study. So this is real stuff. This is real relevant stuff for us as therapists dealing with our clients. They're also dealing with AI and in our lives and our practices. And what is it going to do for our careers in the future? So those are my thoughts today. If you're watching this and you've got thoughts or comments about it, let me know. I'll drop these articles down below so you can check them out if you want to. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it, but I'd love to hear what you guys think. Okay, talk to you later. Bye.